In this video, I'm going to show you how to download and run applications that you may not have installed on your local computer. Um, Indiana University provides software where you can access any of the applications that the university provides to students in their classes, and you can access those over IU Anywhere. For now, we'll just log into Canvas and see how to install the client, which will enable you to access the software application. So I'm going to log in right now. Of course, you will log in with your own credentials. We'll ask you to authenticate. I'm going to go into the A110 Canvas page. For doing the Microsoft Access homework, there was a page in Microsoft Access about tips for using Microsoft Access. So that tips was found under the week of March 30. We can make that accessible over pages. If you click on any one of the pages, you can see Microsoft Access tips in the pages. There are two different ways to get a hold of this: for troubleshooting in the training modules or for running the lab projects. If you don't have Microsoft Access on your laptop, by the way, that may be true for a Windows user, somebody using an iPad or MacBook user, you have to use Microsoft Access to actually complete the projects. Maybe you have a family computer at home that doesn't have Microsoft Professional running on it, so you can stream those applications using a streaming service that IU provides over IU Anywhere, so you can access the applications anywhere. That's the idea. And the WARE is just a play on words. That's software, hardware. Software, which you can stream online. There's an instructions on a UX knowledge base here, and so I'm going to go ahead and open these in a new tab to show you how to access the STC labs during campus closures. So for starters, we need to set up and use IU Anywhere. So we'll click on the first one, which is set up and use IU Anywhere. There's instructions for installing for both Windows and Mac operating systems. So you just scroll down to those. For each of the instructions for Windows or for Mac OS, there's a series of notes and then the instructions below the box for the notes. Since I have a Mac operating system, I'm going to follow the steps for Mac OS. So even though I already have one installed, I'm going to see if I can reinstall it so that I can record all of the steps for you to see. The first thing you want to do is go to receiver.citrix.com to install the latest app. Okay, so it says it detects my operating system, and then it says download the latest for Mac. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here. And up here it says it's a DMG file. So I'm going to go ahead and download it here. And it should be downloading. It's going to take a few seconds, maybe a minute to do that. But while it's doing that, I'm going to click back to the tab I was just on and read the next instruction. It says, the site will auto-detect your operating system and provide a link to download the installer. So that already happened. Click the link to download the installer. I'm doing that now. A new Citrix page will open. Double-click the DMG download and then install Citrix. Follow the installation instructions. The DMG file is down here in my browser, so I'm going to say open it. So I already have it installed. I'm not going to uninstall it, so I'm just going to click this one that says install, and hopefully it'll let me reinstall it right over the top. It says I'm going to run a program to determine if we can do this. I'll say that's fine. Click OK to go through the license and the agreement, and click install. leave this add account unchecked. I'm not going to add any other email accounts or any other accounts to this installation. So I'm just going to click install. And then usually it will ask you, at least on a MacBook, do you want to take the install files and move those to the trash? And so you can do that. Now I should be able to close this. So back on the instructions page, we followed the installation instructions, and now it says proceed to launch IU Anywhere applications. It says go to IU Anywhere, log in with your username and passphrase. Launch this. So notice it spawned a new tab in my browser, so the instructions are back over here. So in the new tab in the browser, I'm going to click login. So I don't know what to do here. I want to go back to the instructions. So this says if you have the app installed, click detect receiver. If you're in Safari, you may need to click already installed after you click detect receiver. Use the light version or detect receiver. If you click detect receiver, I'm just going to cancel this and click already installed. So I'm at the Central Authentication System website. I can click desktops or I can click apps. If you click apps, you can scroll through any of the apps that you might be using at Indiana University, and you can use any of these apps. If you like one of these apps, you can click the details, you can add it to favorites, and then it'll show up on your favorites. So I just added Microsoft Excel, so it's in my favorites. Back to desktops, there's a series of desktops you can use. You can use an IU Anywhere desktop, or you can use an STC desktop. If I click on the STC Lab desktop, and I'm launching it right now, these couple little things are bouncing around for a little bit, but it's going to start up a desktop for me. This STC Lab desktop is going to load my profile settings and my preferences and so on according to my group policy permissions. But this is logging into an STC client just as if you were at Indiana University logging into a lab, any lab on campus. If you've got Box set up, it may connect to your Box files, but I'll show you what to do even if it doesn't connect to your Box files. So I'm going to launch a browser. So I'll actually click here to search. I'll type in Chrome. I'll launch a browser. So by the way, this is me launching a browser inside of the window on the desktop at IU. I can click box.iu.edu and I can access my cloud files over the internet from the campus computer. I'll go ahead and log in like normal to my Box folder. You still have to authenticate. This is a little strange since I'm already authenticated, but I'm going to authenticate on another machine, which is a UX machine. It's going to log me into some folders. And I'm just going to grab a Microsoft Access file. So, for example, if I go down to some projects for Microsoft Access, if you look at the three dots under More Options and you click that, there should be a place to download. So if I click download, I'm actually downloading that file to this machine here. You'll probably get a warning that says, hey, you can harm your computer if you open this kind of a file. I'm going to go ahead and keep this kind of a file since I already know it's a Microsoft Access database and I can work with it. What I like to do is I like to say, show this in the folder. So once I see it in the folder, I'm on this PC now, which is this local machine here. It's in the downloads folder, but I don't want to lose track of where I am, so I'm going to take it and put it out here on the desktop. Let's drag it out here on the desktop. I get to close this now. And I'm going to leave this open, my Box files, in case when I'm done, I want to put my finished homework back into my Box folder. So I'm going to minimize it. Keep in mind it's in a browser, so I can minimize it by clicking down below. So if I want to open this in Microsoft Access, I just double-click my homework file. It will launch Microsoft Access. I have to enable content, and I can start following whatever instructions I'm doing for my lab project. So let's pretend I did some work here, and I finished my homework project. I'm going to now close Microsoft Access. This is my lab desktop. I don't want to close it. That's my Mac window. Remember, I'm sort of maximized here in Microsoft Access. So on the right-hand side in Microsoft Windows, that's where we close those. So if I hit the X here, I'm closing the file, and then I'm back here. I just want to show you something here. If I click this little sort of like to unmaximize this icon, to unmaximize the window, I can see there's two files on the desktop, one of which has this little padlock over the top of it. That's a lock file record data, Microsoft Access, and restricting access to the database while I'm using it right now. And this is the file that I want to upload, the one that says ACCDB, not the one that says LACCDB. You'll notice when I close Microsoft Access, the lock information goes away, and I'm left with my database file. So that's the file I would want to upload back to Box. So if I were to click here and drag my file back to my Box folder, just like on campus, I'm uploading a new version or changes to the document. So now that I have my folder back on my Box file, it's in the cloud. I'm going to go ahead and close the browser window here. Don't forget to log off the desktop, just like you would if you were on campus. Okay, and then that's it. You can sign out over here, log off, and that closes. I'm back to the instructions. I'm going to go ahead and close that too. And I'm back to my Canvas section. My preference while we're all working remotely is for everybody to use the modules. This is week of March 30, current week, April 6. We have 2 lab projects to work on, and then lecture notes. Okay, that's the end of this video. Good luck working on your Microsoft Access homework assignments.